source code translation, reverse engineering, program structure improvements, program translation, and data re-engineering. These are the 5 main engineering activities. Source code translation we already discussed. Reverse engineering, starting from that one. In reverse engineering, what we are doing is we analyze the source code with the goal of understanding the system design and specification. You know, even though if you start with the forward engineering process, that means forward engineering is starting from specification and design and implementation testing is continued. If the program is evolved maintenance for a long period of time with the addition of new features and new functions and improvements, the system structure might get corrupted. When you say structure, it's code structure because you are adding here and there the source, the code lines and functions are added, classes are added, and I mean updating the documentation also. Documentation might get unorganized here. So your source code and current system and specification and design. Specification plus design is not matching with the source code. Source code behavior is something, and what is mentioned in the design and specification is another thing, because it's continuous improvement and source code and specification is not updated in particular, right? In that case, no point of having specification and design documents. You need definitely update them to tally with the program. So here, reverse engineering is focusing on having the source code and create new design documents and specification out of the code. So that means using the new design and new design documents and specification, it can be used for the future for the development or for the enhancement. That is the idea of reverse engineering. So if you cut this diagram, definitely if you know Java, if you create a Java program even without any single design class diagram or without any class diagram or even without any requirements documents, from the skeleton of your Java code, Java project, Java program, you can create the class diagram. You can create the class diagram can be created. If you have a SQL script, a SQL statement, and from the SQL statement, you can create for a ER diagram can be created. SQL statement එක අපි ඊට පස්සට ගියොත් ඒ ER diagram හදන්න පුළුවන් SQL script එක පාවිච්චි කරලා. මේක තමයි idea එක. දැන් even functional programming, procedural programming, using the program skeleton, you can create your structure chart or whatever it is. So even how your main modules are decomposed into submodules and how these submodules for the decompose, that can be the relation between modules. It can be easily generated from this the program you create, you develop, right? So during designing, we are creating program structure diagrams like algorithms, flowcharts are creating. Those diagrams are using to explain the program structure, logic of the program. And data structure diagrams like ER diagram are created before the database design. Traceability matrix, a matrix which we will discuss later on in detail. It's a matrix that contains the traceability between requirements, design and codes and so on. අපි මේක පස්සේ කතා කරමු. මේ වගේ documents create කරන්න පුළුවන් system එක පාවිච්චි කරලා, right? System එක පාවිච්චි කරලා code එක පාවිච්චි කරලා create කරන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට reverse engineering වල focus එක ඒක using the code, we are creating various reverse engineering. Within the code, we are creating various diagrams and specifications. There may make outline in the actually is not required. Currently, manual analysis and automated analysis done. Using the source code as input, we are performing manual analysis. Manual means things done, activities performed by the human beings. Automated means what we do using tools. Using these two, automatic and manual means, we can create a database out of that. From the database, using a document generation activity, we can create various other diagrams. Then third one, program structure improvement. Just do something to structure reorganize the program structure. The function body function class some classes decompose into subclasses. Try to make this logic simple for the purpose sake of understandability and maintainability. The next example the program this program contains a lot of labels and go-to statements. Start, off, on, control, name labels. When certain condition is, program flow jumps here and there. Program flow jumps here and there. Right? So if you have this kind of program, it's very hard to understand. Right? So if you are here, you suddenly, because of certain condition you made, you jump into the one side of the program. Again, because certain condition gets true, and you again go back to another bunch of the program, another section of the program. If another section is true, then you jump into a further forward in the program, right? So it's not okay. Program logical sequential programming. What happens is the logic is expressed in sequential order. So it's if this is done, this will happen. If this is true, this will happen, right? Your computations are done in certain logical order. So if the case is that it's easy to understand the program logic, and hence the maintenance work will be easy. For programming, Samanya advice is that don't use go-to statement in your program unless it can be avoided, right? So make a program make a go-to statement if then statement switch statement make a organize. That's the idea of right structural improvement. Again, the method of complete condition if a lot of conditions Boolean operators not and or not. Relational expressions, relational conditions, relational operators greater than, less than. Yeah, right? Mathematically, equal. If then more simplified, more simple than to understand than the first one. The second, if you operators compared to first one, right? In the second one. So second one is a more simplified case. So the logical structural improvement means right? Condition simplification. My algorithm mega. So input chart program mega input we analyze and generate the graphical representation of the program. Graph building again, we study the program and try to create the graphical representation of the program. Code analyze flow chart create right? You analyze the code and try to build the graphical equivalent of the code. Then flow chart flow chart code code number of lines flow chart logic then decision point yes, no. Yes, no, no, right? Some computational done, the loop right? The flow chart difficult representation program it's more easy to understand the program. So create output is the graph representation. Then we can using tools we create the restructured program. Using tools we create the restructured program. Some other program restructure, what kind of problems that we have to face? If you restructure the program, problems, some problems might have to be encountered. Loss of the comments. The current program we add comments we add comments. Reorganize comments not available. Program comments is not valid for the new program because it's reorganized. Also, if you have a documentation for the program documentation is there, that may be not valid for the new program. So there could be a loss of documentation. Also, this involves restructuring involves additional computational demands. Additional computational work have to done if you do restructuring. So restructure karana program program poorly restructure structure is so poor it's difficult to restructure. If the program modularization is very bad and related components are distributed here and there throughout the code, it's difficult to restructure. Weak building Parak, right? Building up weak I simply destroy it and create a new one. Program structure is very poor and the modularization is very poor. It's difficult to restructure. And another question is, if you take data-driven program, it's difficult to improve the understandability by doing restructuring. If you take data-driven program, it's difficult to restructure, improve the restructure. So data-driven programs may not improve by restructuring. Can you give me an example for restructure data-driven program? Example for data-driven programs. Simple is that simple example we can give is the ATM machine. Data-driven program logic is driven by data. So program logic is driven by user inputs. ATM machine behavior of ATM machine is purely data-driven. The user another step depend. So you insert the card, then insert the pin code. What happens next will be decided by the user. So he's supposed to select the language, or he will select one of the language. Then depending on the language selected, the program goes to a different part of the code. If it is savings account, current account, if his savings is choose, flow goes to different part of the program, depending on the transaction type, savings, current, or balance, inquiry, fund transfer. So the user can input the logic decide when flow decide when. The program is so data driven. It is difficult to improve the organization by restructuring. What do you mean by program modularization? If the related modules are distributed, spread in the program here and there, if the related modules are distributed here and there, you can restructure the program by reorganizing these related modules by collecting together in a single module. That is reorganize the structure of the program. You can program දෙකක් තියෙනවා AB කියලා. ඒකේ තියෙනවා module එකක් X කියලා. B එකේ තියෙන module එකක් Y කියලා. But X and Y are kind of relationship with there. For example, X is doing some reading, Y also doing some reading. And in the program there is a module P is doing some output work. Program B also doing some output work. They have kind of relationships. Therefore, they related modules are again, from them you can create new modules. So module module. Input input, output output. Some computation is doing all modules are doing computations. So I thought make a saman automate ka namari. Make automate ka namari program code dega logic ka it is difficult to do using tools or using artificial intelligence methods. It is difficult to do it automatic means. Therefore, usually program modularization is done using manual meanings. That means through using human beings are involving in this process. Just looking at the inspection, read the code, and they can decide how to reorganize. So it's a manual inspection work, right? So program modularization cannot do in automated means. It's a manual process. So definitely human beings who programmers or developers has to get together and do the reviews and inspections and reorganize the structure. So some examples for modules, right? Different types of modules are there. So modules, types input output computation modules. So modules can be grouped, classified hardware modules. These modules are responsible for interfacing with hardware components. So all functions are required to interface with hardware modules. Database modules. All modules required for database activities. database modules. Functional modules. Those modules that are doing some actions, carry out actions, build a task. So modules, functional modules that carrying out action-related task, functional modules. Modules that handle data structures, and its operation, like database operation modules, right? Database modules, hardware modules, support modules, modules that get support of common modules. Within the modules categorized depending on their role they are playing. Data, using hardware, using functionality, using process support, modules can be categorized, module types could be there. Then next, re-engineering activities. We talked about source code translation, reverse engineering, program structure improvement, program modularization. Here, idea is that program structure is going to remodularize by collecting all rated modules together and put them in one place. And data re-engineering is the next activity. Where you do some data re-engineering activities. Try to restructure the data structures. Then improvements for the data structures, recovering from data abstraction, improvement for data structures. In legacy systems that have been developed some years back, but is still using legacy systems are old systems, but it's still useful for the business work. So these are programs written some years back. Maybe the program so like many programs, the program is all time they try to share the data structures. They try to share the global data. Global data public for the sake of simplicity. 2 or 3 programs will share some set of variables, for example, or some set of data storage. In this case, if you do it in an unorganized way, one program accidentally change the data, it will affect the other program. Database share programs applications there is sharing happens, but that ethics happen done under controlled way. That is under controlled way using security mechanism, locking mechanism, data recovery, and so on. Database so that's data sharing is there, but it's a control sharing. Well, if you do it in uncontrolled way, it might cause other problems. So if changes are done, and it might affect wide area of the system. Right? If this happens mostly in procedure-oriented programming, that problem is overcome in object-oriented programming. So object-oriented programming, you have objects. In procedure-oriented programming, we don't have objects. We're just talking about variables and with enumerated primitive data types. arrays and so on, they can be shared. But if you take objects, abstract data types, you can hide, you can make data private to objects. Object එකෙන් කරලා තියෙන private public protected scopes ඉනවනේ private කරගමන් තව object එකට අන්තය බලන්න බෑ. ඒ වගේ structural improvement කරන්න පුළුවන් data structures වලට. So we can convert arrays, simple variables to objects. So those are data structure improvements. For example, ගත්තොත් මේ so data engineering focus on analyzing and reorganize the data structures. So first you would analyze and try to reorganize the data structure. Or sometime data structure again data store කරන ක්‍රමය data store කරන ක්‍රමය වෙනස් කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඔක්කොම data values change කරන්න පුළුවන්. Data structure reorganize කරනවා කියන්නේ data structure එක මාරු කරනවා. උදාහරණයක් විදිහට දැන් මේ පත්පුට්ටියක මේ රාස්මානක කැම වෙනවා නම් it's made of steel no. එතකොට මේ transfer it to material ගන්න පුළුවන්. material වලින් අතපු භාජනයක කැම ගන්න පුළුවන්. That is a reorganization, restructuring, right? So භාජන පාවිච්චි කරනවා මේ ස්ටිල් භාජන වෙනුවට. ඒ වගේ දෙයක් තමයි මේ data structure changes කියලා කියන්නේ. ඒතර කොහොමද data store කරන්න දෙන්නේ? ඒ structures මාරු කරනවා. උදාහරණයක් විදිහට දැන් ගත්තොත් ඉස්සෙල්ලා තිබුණේ file based systems 50 ගණන් වල 60 ගණන් වල තිබුණේ file based. Data is distributed among many files. These files are accessing data in each other and they have been organized as a collection of files. So there are different access mechanisms used to access data in distributed different files. So the file based approach taking database evolution is database approach that is data restructuring, data reengineering. File based approach එක වෙනුවට database management system එකට මාරු වෙනවා. There are different database management system like then ගොඩක් වල පාවිච්චි කරන relational data modeling නේ. Relational data modeling එතකොට access Microsoft access කරද්දී එහෙම that use relational data modeling. MySQL or then පාවිච්චි කරන database ඒවා කොහොමද ඒවා relational concept and object-oriented concepts combined together. So these are database management systems. And earlier it was file-oriented. So you move from file-oriented to DBMS. That is data reengineering. Also move to a new version of DBMS. You have old version of currently using of the current DBMS, MySQL old version, you shift to a new version because the facility is so supported by the new version, functionality and facilities supported by the new version of the DBMS. So that is data structure improvements. Also sometimes you can improve the data values. So the data structure data store karna ක්‍රමය, data store කරන ක්‍රමය සහ data access කරන ක්‍රමය. So file based approach එකේදී data access කරන ක්‍රමය නෙමෙයි DBMS method එකේ තියෙන්නේ. Right, උදාහරණයක් විදිහට file based approach එකේදී කරන්නේ දැන් it's basically we have file or sequential files, random access file. Sequential file එක කියන්නේ මොකද්ද? ඒක tape එකක් වගේ, right? Records are stored in a sequential order like in a tape. දැන් කලින් කාලේ කලින් දවස්වල තිබුණා මේ සින්දු tape වගේ. ඒක සින්දුවක් හරි වුණාම තමයි ඊළඟ සින්දුවට යන්නේ. ඒ සින්දු ඉවරනවා තමයි ඊළඟ සින්දුවට යන්නේ. ආයෙ මුලට යන්න ඕන නම් ආයෙ මේක රිවයින්ඩ් කරන්න ඕනේ. So all songs can be accessed in sequential order. ඒ වගේ sequential files වල records access කරන්න වෙන්නේ sequential order එකට, තියෙන order එකට. C වෙනි file එක record එක access කරන්න නම් 99 access කරලා ඉන්න ඕනේ. 150 access කරන්න ඕනේ, 149 access කරලා ඉන්න ඕනේ. right? කෙලින්ම 150ට යන්න බෑ. ඔබට ඒ වගේම random access file වලදී දැන් ඒකලා කියන series වගේ. කෙලින්ම එතනදී random කියලා කියන්නේ අපිට records වලට යන්න පුළුවන් එහාට මෙහාට. දැන් උදාහරණයක් like CD එකක් ගත්තොත් දැන් it's using random access techniques. You can go to the first song, then you can suddenly play the last song, can again come back to the song at the middle of the CD. tracks මාරු කර කර අපිට randomly යන්න පුළුවන් this head එක change කරලා. දැන් this head එක පළවෙනි track එකේ නම් තියෙන්නේ අපිට 10 වෙනි track එකට යන්න ඕන නම් කෙලින්ම this head එක පළවෙනි track එකේ ඉඳලා දෙවෙනි track එකට යන්න නැතුව කෙලින්ම head එක move කරන්න පුළුවන් 10 වෙනි track එකට. That is random access. ඔක sequentially කරා නම් track 1 එක ගිහිල්ලා ඊට track 2 ගිහිල්ලා 3 ගිහිල්ලා 4 ගිහිල්ලා තමයි 10 වෙනි track එකට යන්න වෙන්නේ. Now this is random access random fashion. We simply can move from track 1 to track 10. So that is data engineering. Improving or changing two new data structures. Also sometimes you can change the data values in data re-engineering. Data values can be changed. Some examples for changing data values: data cleanup, data extension, data migration. What is data cleanup? What is data extension? What is data migration? So these are some approaches for data re-engineering. So යටපේ ගත්තොත් එම් data migration. මම කිව්වා මේ file based system එකේ ඉඳගෙන move වෙනවා database management system එකට. පරණ DBMS එකේ ඉඳන් move වෙන අලුත් DBMS එකට. Data migration. So in this case, data might be holding in separate files, or could be all type of DBMS. So you migrate into a now modern data DBMS from file-based system to DBMS, database system. The diagram again, explain the diagram. Yeah. This is example for data migration. There are set of programs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. Set of files, file 1, 2, 3, and so on. Some programs use some files. Some programs use other files. They are not sharing. Sharing is minimal here. So first diagram is sample for file-based system. Maybe files are sequential files, so they could be random access files and other access modes also available. Just stick on to sequential and random. So in that case, one or many programs are sharing one or many files. In a data migration, now you try to decide migrate to a DBMS, database management system, where we have one central database which are shared by one or many programs. So moving from file-based system to database system, it's data migration. Another simple example, you have a program. That program is written using a collection of variables. මම explanation කියන්නේ දැන් integer values ටිකක් තියෙනවා manipulate කරන්න. ඔයගොල්ලෝ පාවිච්චි කරනවා values 10ක් තියෙනවා. තියාගන්න ඕනේ values 10ක්. දැනගෙන ස්ටුඩන්ට් age එක ගමකෝ. students 50ක් ඉන්නවා. එතකොට ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ වයස අපි තියාගන්න ඕනේ program එකේ application එකේ. එතකොට ඔයගොල්ලන්ට method එකක් තමයි ඔයගොල්ලන්ට variables simple variables 50ක් define කරන්න පුළුවන්. For each variable for each individual. ඊට වැඩි ලේසි මේ array එකක් පාවිච්චි කරන්න පුළුවන්. integer array එකක්. So what is an array is a collection of simple variables. That's a single data structure. You can replace 50 simple variables with one data structure. So array, one array. It's like also data array engineering work, even though it's simple, right? Even though it's simple, it's like data array engineering example. So data migration is one of the approaches for data array engineering. And if you take, we are in third here, data cleanup. Here, data cleanup means data records and its values are analyzed to improve their quality. Sometimes there could be duplicates. Data storage duplicates. Duplicates are not required. No, wasting money, space and money. So if there are duplicates, you can remove them. Also, there could be redundant information. අනවශ්‍ය තොරතුරු තියෙන්න පුළුවන්. අනවශ්‍ය තොරතුරු තියෙනවා ඒවා delete කරලා දාන්න. Another would be a consistent format applied in all records. Consistent format. එකතැනක නම තියෙනවා නම තියෙන්නේ fixed length field. Fixed length or fixed length record. Fixed length record කියන්නේ හැම record එකේම එකම length එක. Student database එක student file එකක් ගත්තොත් එහෙම හැම student එකටම දෙන්නේ එකම space එක තමන්ගේ record එක තියාගන්න. Fixed length record we call them. So every student getting the same length to store its data. If it is variable length, the different records get different bytes. If it is variable, record size may be vary from one record to another record, variable length. So සමගත්තනක නම අපි නමට පාවිච්චි කරලා තියෙන 30 bytes එනම වෙන ෆයිල් එක ඒ data මේ නමටම student, that means student name is stored in two places. Student name is using two places. That is redundant. So in one place you assign 30 characters, another place you assign 30 characters for the same thing. That gives problems because it's duplication and data are duplicating and as unnecessary duplicate. One katanga tiya anitana kahatliya byte size එක දාලා තියෙනවා. Right, if you have that situation, try to be uniform, consistent. Variable length and variable length records. Fixed length and fixed length record. If the duplications are required for the fields, try to use the same size for the field. That is data cleanup. Some examples for data cleanup: data removal, duplicates removed, redundant informations are removed. Try to apply consistent format to all records across the database. Some data cleanup කරනකොට සාමාන්‍ය program එක change කරන්න අවශ්‍ය නැහැ. Data structure තමයි change කරන්න වෙන්නේ, right? Data structure තමයි change කරන්න වෙන්නේ. So this data cleanup does not require changes to the program. Another example, data extension. Data extension කියලා කියන්නේ අපි data වලට extension එකක් දෙනවා. Data limits change කරනවා. You try to remove the data limits. data limits කියලා කියන්නේ දැන් අපි minimum size එකක් දෙනවා array එකට ඒක change කරනවා. Maybe increase or decrease depending on the requirement. So in data extension, data and associate programs are re-engineered to remove the limits on the data processing. That might increase the fail length, decrease the fail length, or modify the upper limits on tables. That means maximum records that can be stored, do modification. So if you do that, you have to change the data itself and you have to rewrite the programs again, modify the programs again. So database එකක් උදාහරණයක් විදිහට මොකද program එක වෙනස් කරන්න ඕන කියන්නේ. If you do data extension, you need to change the program. මට simple example එකක් දෙන්න පුළුවන්. ඔයගොල්ලෝ දැන් database එකක් තියෙනවා. database එකේ student නම ගමුකෝ. ඒතකොට student name field එකට assign කරලා තියෙන්නේ 30 characters. The program එකෙන් ඔය field එක field value කියවනවා. database එකෙන් තියෙන එක we are reading. ඒක read කරලා තියාගන්න variables අවශ්‍ය වෙන program එකේ. data තියෙන්නේ database එකේ ඔක read කරලා program එකට ගන්න ඕනේ. ඒ value එක for the processing. So if you want to read that value, you need a place to keep that value in the program. So you have to define variables for that. So variable to our database field එක increase කරොත් එහෙම length එක මේ program එකත් ඒ variable එක length එක මාරු කරන්න වෙනවා. අපේ database එකේ තියෙන field width එක byte 40යි 30යි program එකේ දැන් 30යි තිබ්බේ. එතකොට 40ට වැඩි කරාන් පස්සේ that means you allow more bytes to be stored. ඒක අනිවාර්යෙන් program එකට changes කරන්න වෙනවා, right? So these are the approaches for data re-engineering, data cleanup, data extension, data migration. Right, this is my examples for data migration. What are the problems in the data? Some examples for data problems. Data naming problems. Data naming problems. Some names may be hard to understand. Some names could be hard to understand. The names are not meaningful. The programs වල පාවිච්චි කරනවා මේ simple name like XYZ වගේ පාවිච්චි කරනවා. That is not recommended in good software engineering practices. Use meaningful data for names. Use meaningful names for your variables. Use meaningful names for your variable so that by the name you can get an idea about what is the content of the variable. The names like XYZ does not carry any meaning. Then student again nama පාවිච්චි කරන්න ඕන නම් you can use a name like student name. ඔකට XYZ පාවිච්චි කරොත් ඒක ඇත්තට නමෙන් reflect වෙන්නේ නැහැ මොකද්ද ඇතුළේ තියෙන්නේ කියලා. Right? And some names are not meaningful at all. In that case, try to use meaningful names. So that is one of the data problem. The same data might have different names in different programs. එක program එක name කියලා තියෙනවා අනිත් program එකේ student name කියලා තියෙනවා. Even though they are the same, different names are based in different programs. So there could be data naming problems. ඒතකොට එක එක languages වල propose කරලා තියෙනවා උදාහරණයක් විදිහට label variables name කරන කොහොමද කියලා they have proposed some standards, guidelines. Then system variables ගත්තොත් system variables label කරන්නේ කොහොමද? ඉස්සරහින් දානවා underscore එකක්. Then the name. That is to differentiate system variables, user variables. That's a convention used, standard used. So the සමහරක් කට්ටිය propose කරනවා මේ පළවෙනි වචනේ simple තියාගන්න, දෙවෙනි වචනේ පළවෙනි අකුර capital කරගන්න, then other simple. Student name එතකොට capital පටන් ගන්න simple less වලින්, student කියන වචනේම simple, name කියන වචනේ n කියන capital අනිත් ඒවා simple. ඒ මොකද මේ characters ඔක්කොම එක case එකෙන් තිබ්බොත් එහෙම එකට ටයිකට වදින්නේ නැහැ. මේක ටයිකට capture කරගන්න අමාරුයි. අර මැද එක capital කරපු ගමන් ටක් ගාලා හරි මේක නම කියන ස්ටුඩන්ට් නම කියන එක n වලින් is more attractive for the eye. ඔක්කොම character simple වලින් තිබ්බොත් මේක එච්චර eye catch කරන්නේ නැහැ. අපි ඒකට පොඩි වෙනසක් කරනවා නමේ n අකුර විතර capital කරනවා. ඒ වගේ guidelines propose කරලා තිනවා when we are naming variable ඒ වගේ වන්ද functions වලටත් meaningful නම් පාවිච්චි කරන්න. සමහරවිට field length problems කියන්න පුළුවන්. field length එකේ problems. So same data item is assigned different lengths in different programs, like for same variables of same fields, different names length have been assigned in different programs. In a record organization problem, that is with fixed length versus variable length. So different programs represent the same entity in different formats. Student record, as I said, in one program, they use fixed length record. The next program, another program, same entity, student, represent in variable length records. Avoid that's there are problems. Huh? No data dictionary, meaning that data dictionary carries the meaning of data. Then variable පාවිච්චි කරනවා, if you can maintain a dictionary, the dictionary තියෙන්නේ variable එක නම මොකක්ද ඒක store වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. Like a glossary, right? Translate a glossary, right? English වචන තියෙනවා, English dictionary තියෙනවා, ඒකේ meaning එක මොකක්ද? වචනේ තියෙනවද? ඒ වචනේ meaning එක අල්ලගන්න බැරි වෙයි. So make a real meaning එක මොකක්ද? Dictionary carries that explanation. Maintaining a data dictionary is important. In fact, DBMS එක නම් ඔක තියෙනවා, right? DBMS එක they are maintaining their own dictionary. So data dictionary helps people to understand what is the content of what kind of data is stored in the variables or records, so arrays, so whatever it is. If you don't have a dictionary now, you face a problem. So data naming problems, field length problems, record organization problems, no data dictionary case. So people like to store data in DBMS and they want to read the data from DBMS and straight away download to the desktop. And sometimes data volume problem is there. You design a database so the data is structured in a way that you don't accept large volume of data, but suddenly you get a later volume than you anticipated. And redundant data and different formats, that's are data problems as we discussed earlier as well. So this slide contains data inconsistency problems or data value inconsistencies. Data value inconsistency means so first column give the ways that data can be inconsistent, and second column give the description. Inconsistency of default values. Inconsistency of default values. So different programs assign different values to the same data item. Different programs use different default values for the same data item. උදාහරණයක් ගත්තොත් අපි gender එක ගත්තොත් එක ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් එකක් gender එකට default value එක පාවිච්චි කරනවා male කියලා. අනිත් ප්‍රෝග්‍රෑම් එක gender එකට පාවිච්චි කරනවා female කියලා. So the same thing, different defaults are assigned. This makes two values inconsistent. Then inconsistency of units. Units are not consistent. Units are inconsistent. Like in one program for age, you use the unit year. In another program, you use year is measured in terms of month. For weight, one program use LB, Ratal, another program use kilos. To measure length, one program use inches, another program or mile, another program use kilometers. Inconsistent units have been used. Validation rules are different. Programs are applying different validation rules for same data item. So data written by one program may be rejected by another program because of this inconsistent validation rule. Inconsistent representation of semantics. And different programs interpret same data items in different way. If you are using uppercase characters to describe store address, another program might use different convention, like only first letter of each word is capital. Namagatot, one program use lowercase letters for the name. Another program might use uppercase for the first character only. First name, first character uppercase, last name, first character uppercase. While other program use everything lowercase. Inconsistent representation of semantics, meaning inconsistent handling of negative values. So some programs reject negative values, for example, negative transaction number. And some programs assume always positive value. So other programs accept both negative and positive. Age cannot be negative. So one program reject that value. Age should be positive, and that the second program accept age because it's positive. The third program is designed in a way that it accepts both negative and positive values. So there will be inconsistency in this way. So this slide deck explains Latin data values, how they can be inconsistent. You can have self-reference further. So data reengineering may involve changing the data structure and sometimes changing the data values. Data conversion means converting data values. उदाहरणार्थ गත්තොත් program එක weight එක රාත්තල් වලින් තියෙනවා නම් weight is in pounds, you want to convert into kilograms, but this requires some computation. Some computational work is required. So if we cannot do it manually, so special conversion programs has to be written to do the conversion. The data conversions කරන්න ඕන නම් එතකොට ඒක manually කරන්න expensive manually කරන්න බෑ ඔබ, right? So රාත්තල් කිලෝ වලට convert කරන්න ඕනේ. You can easily do it using a programming means. Read the data, convert it to the second unit. So if you carry out automatic means, that conversion is easy. This is the process model for data reengineering. So මේ process model එකේ තියෙන්නේ මේ data reengineering activities, entity name modification, program name modification. එතන මෙතන කියනවානේ අපි inconsistent default values, inconsistent units. So මේවා ඉතින් fix කරන්න ඕනේ. You have to fix them. Data naming problems you have to fix them. Field length problems you have to fix them. No data dictionary, you have to then maintain a data dictionary. So you have to do something to eliminate these problems. That's the idea here. මේ process model එකේ කියන්නේ ඒවට ගන්න remedies තමයි, right? So you need changes for the name, changes for the literal displacement, meaning that default values වගේ තියෙනවා නම් data definition reordering, data define කරලා තියෙන පිළිවෙල නැවත සකස් කිරීම, එහෙමෙන් variables define කරන්න නැතුව පිළිවෙලකට order එකට අනුව data reformatting කියන්නේ like fixed length record, variable length records තියෙනවා නම් ඒවා එක විදිහකට කියන එක, default value conversions, try to use same default values rather than different default values, validation rule modification, අර කලින් sites වල කියපු ඒවට you fix කරන්න ඕනේ. So this indicate you have to fix them. Reformatting, convert default values to validation, rule validation, modifications, renaming variables and so on. So to do that, you have to do some data analysis to identify the problems. First, do the data analysis. In programming read කරලා නැත්නම් programs කීපය read කරලා මේ data analysis එක කරලා බලන්න ඕනේ. කොහොමද දන්නේ data naming problems තියෙනවද කියලා. Data conversion problems අවශ්‍යද කියලා කොහොමද දන්නේ? So you have to do manual data analysis and take actions to repair them. Then for that, we have program can be taken as inputs. Program can be taken as input for that. Then sometime if you have summary tables, data analysis result can summary tables. So you during the data analysis, you create a summary table that can be used as an input for these actions. So you have finally modified data as the output. Data conversion is here taken as a separate activity. Data conversion is taken as separate activity. Modification of names, literal replacement, data definition reorganization, data reformatting, data values conversion, validation, rule modification, and data conversions are the activities that you have to do to improve the data values, right? That's part of data reengineering. graph එකේ තියෙන්නේ මේ picture එකේ තියෙන capture කරලා තියෙන්නේ මේ summarize කරලා තිනවා මේ කලින් slides වල data problems so this slide explain reengineering activities as we said earlier මේක ඇහිලා මේ කලින් කරපු slide එකක් in fact here this slide is readdress this slide is readdress here source code translation data reengineering program structure improvement කියන්නේ source code translation එකක් අවශ්‍ය වෙන්නේ නැහැ if we don't need the source code translation if the compilers are available you don't need a source code translation may not needed if the programming language used to develop the system still supported by the compiler supplier. If the compilers are available for the language, source code translation is not required. Compilers නැත්තම් market එක ගන්න දැන් ඉතින් අනිවාර්යෙන් මේ language එක මාරු කරන්න වෙනවා. That means if you don't have a compiler available, support is not there, you cannot modify the program. So when you modify the program, you have to recompile the program. If the compilers are not available and they are outdated, there are no compiler suppliers, then you need a source code translation. It says source code translation may not needed if the programming language used to develop the system is still supported by the compiler supplier. So data reengineering is required only if data structures change during the reengineering process. එකත් හරි නේ. Data reengineering කරන්න වෙන්නේ reengineering process එකේදී data structures වෙනස් කරොත් පමණයි. During reengineering, if you decide to go to a new DBMS instead of old DBMS new version, so the kind of data structuring is required. But software engineering always involves program structural improvements. Software engineering involves program restructuring. The source code translation හැමතිස්සම ඕන වෙන්නේ නැහැ. අවශ්‍ය වෙන්නේ compilers available නැත්නම් data engineering අවශ්‍ය වෙන්නේ engineering process එකේදී data structures වෙනස් වුණොත් පමණයි. නමුත් program structural improvement are required in engineering most of the times. That means the program restructuring means it's like activity that is required more or less during re-engineering. So that may slide එකේ consider කරලා තියෙන re-engineering cost එක. This slide considered the re-engineering cost. So when you go from left to right, the re-engineering cost is increasing. That means දකුණු පැත්තෙන් පටන් ගත්තොත් restructuring with architectural changes has the highest cost incurred. If you try to do architectural changes to the program or to the DBMS, that process is expensive. That process is expensive compared to the other corner. Left hand side ගත්තොත් left hand side එකේදී කතා කරන්නේ automated means කියන්නේ getting tool support. If you can get මෙතන මේ diagram මේ if you can get the automated support for program structuring and automated support for code conversion, the cost can be reduced. මේ පැත්ත cost එක අඩුයි. In other words, if you are using getting automated support for re-engineering process cost can be reduced. Automated support for code conversion, automated support for program restructuring. මැද තියෙන්නේ automated restructuring with manual changes. That means automated means and manual means. Both restructuring is done by tools plus together with manual means manually with human involvement. Restructuring is done by automated tools together with human intervention. That is that cost is somewhere in the middle. Highest cost incurred if you do architectural changes as well. The program code source code conversion and restructuring is two different actions. Source code conversion is like do source code translation, Fortran to C, source code translation. Automated program restructuring means which reorganize the program structure. C nan C ma tamai, Java nan Java mai. Source code එක වෙනස් කරන්නේ නැහැ. So language එක වෙනස් කරන්නේ නැහැ. If you try to do data re-engineering as well, then cost will be increased. So compare automated program restructuring with this one. එතකොට මේකේ add data re-engineering. Added data re-engineering, additional activity that further increase the cost. The diagram interpret the highest cost is getting high when you try to do architectural changes to the program, to the system, and for the data. Aduma cost do source code conversion with the tool support. And nilangata cost general thing. If you try to improve the program structure through tools, automated means cost might get higher than this one. If you try to do it, part of them manually, if you try to do part of the thing manually, that will add more cost. And here, not only program, you try to restructure the data as well. That will adding more another part, data part, further increase the cost. The re-engineering cost might depend on number of factors. Re-engineering cost might depend on number of factors. What are the factors that could increase or decrease re-engineering cost? Factors that can influence the re-engineering cost. If the quality of the software is too bad, if the quality of the software to be re-engineered is too bad, also there is documents, if any, that might contribute for higher re-engineering cost. In other words, quality of the software that includes the programs and documentation will influence the higher re-engineering cost. If the program is better quality, software is better quality, document is better quality, that cost can be reduced, re-engineering cost can be reduced. Also, cost tool support availability. The Kaling diagramming up tool support process he has described here, cost can be reduced. So availability of tool support for engineering will affect the engineering cost. So in other words, it is not normally cost effective. It is not normally cost effective to re-engineer a software system unless case tools are available for automating process. It is not normally cost effective to re-engineer a software system unless case tools are available to automate the process. If tool support are available for the changes to be done, then re-engineering can be done. Otherwise, it's not cost effective. Diagram में गत्तोत हमें इधर दकुंटे ना करते हमें cost के increase होना भी ना. So you using less tools when you go from left to right. Also, the amount of data conversion required is too large. If you have to convert large volume of data, then definitely cost will be increasing. If the engineering requires converting large volume of data, cost can increase significantly. Also, the staff skills, availability of staff for engineering process, expert staff. If you can employ the same staff for engineering who involved in development, engineering costs can be decreased, otherwise it will increase. If the staff responsible for development can be involved in re-engineering process, cost can be reduced, otherwise cost might will increase. But the reason for this, because new people has to spend a lot of time to understand system structure. So cost that might affect re-engineering cost are software quality, availability of tool support, the data volume that you want to convert, availability of staff, expert staff for engineering. These factors might contribute to increase or decrease the re-engineering cost. But there are practical limits that you can go forward. Practical limits are there to extent that system can be improved by re-engineering. There is a level that you can go forward. Example, like if you try to completely convert your program, which is functional based procedure oriented approach is using. So convert a system written in using functional procedure oriented approach to object oriented will be high costly. Changing a Fortran program to Java or changing a C program to Java. So Fortran and Java, C they are based on procedure-oriented functional based approaches using where system is decomposed into procedures or functions. In object-oriented, system is decomposed into objects, where a set of objects is a class. A group of objects is a class. System decompose karna views like venas. Object-oriented system decompose karna objects ulya tiya. That means we keep in mind the classes. In object-oriented procedure, we decompose the system based on the functionality. So some disadvantages of re-engineering, there are practical limits to extent you can go to improve the system through re-engineering. And major architectural re-engineering costs can be reduced through automatic tools. But doing changes to the architecture cannot be carried out automatically. If you want to do it manually, definitely it will contribute to higher additional cost. මේ diagram එකේ අර කලින් පෙන්වුවේ එකේ තියෙනවා මේ if you do architectural changes, it can incur the highest cost. Doing architecture changes meaning major changes to the system structure, which is costly. අපි building එකක් හදනවා base එක දාලා building එක උඩ අරන් යනවා. ඊට පස්සේ decide කරොත් එහෙම මේ base එක change කරන්න. Sometimes it may not be practical completely, but even though it's possible to do sometime, that will, we have to spend more money for that, adding additional cost. Another disadvantage is you can re-engineer the system, but the re-engineered system may not be maintainable. As a new system that you develop using modern engineering method, modern software engineering method. For example, if you use agile methods to develop a new system that will support reduced maintainability. Agile methods, modern software engineering techniques will support create more maintainable software rather than re-engineering all system. So then that brings the end to this chapter. So these are the key points this chapter captures. So objective of re-engineering is to improve the system structure, to make it easier to understand and maintain. Re-engineering involves source code translation, reverse engineering, structure improvements to the program structure, program modularization, and data re-engineering. So activities pagana chapter pulam kata kara. So you should have able to explain these activities. Source code, what is source code translation, what is reverse engineering, that is program structure improvement, program modularization, and data re-engineering. What is source code translation? Converting your code by using a new language, one language to another. So what is reverse engineering? Going back from the code, you recreate the design specification in the code. Program structural improvements means unstructured program construct can be simplified, like loops can be replaced with simple loops. Conditional statements can be replaced with more simple conditional statements. Modularization means reorganizing and regrouping the related modules. Data re-engineering is regarding data management, like changes to the data structures, changes to the data values. So that is chapter 2. So you can try question 7 and 8. Question 7 and question 8. That is from re-engineering chapter Q7, Q8. Question 7 and 8. Some answers has been proposed for 7 and 8. Answer B. So re-engineering means redocumentation and restructuring the system components. B. Adding new function is not re-engineering. Re-engineering activity, we don't add new things. C. Understand the source code and associate documents. That is not re-engineering. That is a force reverse engineering. Changing the software architecture, it's not re-engineering. If you do software architecture, the major changes it will add additional cost to the development cost. So major architectural changes are not doing in re-engineering. Basically, source code translation, program structure improvement, data re-engineering. So source code translation, data re-engineering, program structure improvement, changing the language, source code translation, reverse engineering, program structure improvements, program modularization, and data re-engineering. These are the 5 activities. The process of transforming system specification into source code, that is forward engineering. Ata uttare B, B ata B. One questions to add kara me dekha chat kata me. Bulanta ulomila ki chat ka assess karna buluan ne. Question 14 and 15. New 2 questions. 14 and 15. So source code translation is one of the activities in software engineering. Why this is needed? Source code translation is one of the activities in re-engineering. Why it is needed? There is hardware platform available. So hardware platform update, sorry. If new hardware is around and all hardware is obsolete, definitely there are no vendors, no suppliers we can find to purchase all hardware, and also it is not cost effective. In that case, changing a program to adapt your software to new hardware is essential. No point of keeping all hardware and working with them, but it's not cost effective way. Staff skill shortages. We cannot find people for the software maintenance purpose and who have the skills of developing system using all languages. Definitely you have to think of changing, update, re-engineering the software. So as a policy, if organization decided to re-engineer to be modern, smart technology, and 134 14C. Restructuring programs, in particular, data engineering, re-engineering activity. Data re-engineering is reorganizing data structures and data values. So data engineering involves reorganizing data structures and data values. Enhance design diagrams. Again, general re-engineering activity. restructuring programs and restructuring documents is re-engineering. Main goal, adding new functions, major functions, is not re-engineering. During re-engineering, it is assumed that we don't add new things, new features are not added. But we are re-engineering the existing system without doing major architectural changes, major addition of new features. It is that is not considered as re-engineering. Another new question, question 5. If we move from file-based system to database system, it is data re-engineering. Uttare. Another question 7. The purpose of reverse engineering. What is the purpose of reverse engineering? You go backward. Add new functionality, not हमें question है कालिंदी भी आने आते उत्तरे भी the seventh question अभी मैंने कालिंग discuss करा. It's about redocumentation and restructuring of system components. Sorry. नहीं कवर थी. आता B ने में उत्तरे आता C उत्तरे. Redocument and restructuring means re-engineering. Ate uttare C. Analyzing the source code to understand the design and specification. Why is source code analysis required? Because with the time, as time goes on with the heavy maintenance and evolution work, design and specification might not be matched in long run with the source code if you don't update the specification and design documents. If there's design and specification does not reflect the source code, or source code does not reflect the design and specification, that means they are not mismatching. So some kind of improvements are required, changes required for make source code and design specifications equal. You can try to improve the design documents and specification so that it might be useful for the future to make it specification and design documents keep update. Let's these questions convert old Java version to new Java version. What do you call this? Convert old Java version to new Java version. Convert old Java version to new Java version. What is this?
Translation.
What is source code translation? Create an ER diagram from SQL script, from SQL code. Create an ER diagram from SQL code. Kita abhi apas se aanne SQL code देंगे ER diagram में create का this is reverse engineering. Reverse में आपस में हम करने में एक अनिपत्य तो create SQL code from ER diagram. Create SQL code from ER diagram. Create SQL code from ER diagram. Make a doing के opposite tega. That is forward engineering. going through the steps in software development life cycle, again forward engineering.